I've packed about half the stuff already in the van. I'm about to do trip number 2. It's about 7:30 p.m. here in Ontario, Canada, and it's been dark for about an hour. No lights yet, just a temporary light up there. This is trip number 2. It's been 4 months now since my first trip. As you can see, I didn't get very far in the past 4 months with my van build. I'll explain the reason in another video, but basically it was due to being sold expired spray foam. But here is a list of upgrades I made since my last trip. I put in the driver's side dual pane window. I built the bed. And I don't have the mattress yet, so just using this temporary thing. I finished the flare finally. That took about 3 months total to build, but I learned so much about composites manufacturing. I think I could do it again in a fraction of the time. I built a CNC machine. Well, it's not for the van, but I used it to cut the template out for the window flare. I rebuilt my entire power system for the van. I sold my 2 Tesla batteries and purchased a 25 volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery instead. It felt a bit safer. I also purchased a hybrid inverter charger that's programmable. Then I installed the diesel heater. I also designed and built a 3D printed HEPA filter with carbon filter, casing, and adapter for the diesel filter. Lastly, I insulated the ceiling partially. That's about it. At the end of the video, I'll talk about the next upgrades I'll be doing, which I'm already working on as I'm making this video. Now on to the trip. Okay, mostly packed and ready to go. I just put things on the side, and this is the gate to my backyard, so I'm gonna open that and head out. I'm parked in an industrial area in Toronto. I'm spending the night here and then heading up north tomorrow, I think, if I get a good night's sleep. I met up with another van lifer that has a very similar van, and tonight he showed me how he did his solar rack, roof rack setup, which I want to kind of replicate, but it was mostly just to hang out and do something on Saturday night. I've got the sensor here, and it's telling me it's not the greatest air quality because it's supposed to be green and it's yellow. And I look on the phone and there's high VOC content, and I'm pretty sure that is because I spilled some diesel fuel when I was filling up my diesel heater tank in the back. Just got to the campsite. I booked one night at Algonquin. It's pretty nice right on the lake. It's freezing in here because my battery was not secured to anything, and when I was driving it just slid all over the floor and ripped itself out of the diesel heater, so I gotta reconnect that. But first of all, I gotta connect my inverter charger. This is a air filter, which I 3D printed the case, true HEPA plus carbon filter. And I built an adapter to go from the 7-inch size to the 3-inch for the intake tube, and I also printed a adapter to go on the intake ring that originally came with the diesel heater. So it just wraps it and then I clamp it down. Okay. that was trip number 2. I would have liked to recorded more than I did, but it was enough for a short video. Now I'll quickly go over the next upgrades I'll be doing for my next trip. Because my main issue on this trip was to do with air quality, I will be upgrading my air system with automatic fresh air management. I have designed and printed this device that will automatically mix in outside air into the diesel heater and let out CO2 that has collected. So the vent will go right up here and draw in fresh air with a tube along this corner, which I'll also insulate. The tube will then come over here and mix in with the return air intake, which I'm going to put over here. I'm going to 3D print. And then it's going to combine fresh air and used air, go through my HEPA filter, and then into the heater. Then over here, I'm going to add a valve. And when my CO2 sensor detects high levels of CO2, it's going to open this valve, expelling the air lowest to the ground, which is most likely CO2, out into the vent. The next thing I'll be building probably this week is finishing this enclosure for the flare. And of course, I'm also closing off the garage with a panel over here. So inside my garage, there's 2 panels. And I'm fiberglassing both of them. Not finished yet. So this is the panel for the garage. So I'll finish fiberglassing that, then painting it. And then this is the panel for the rear door. I'm then going to put some upholstery foam on top and then glue in some vinyl leather, which I'm going to wrap around the back. Then that panel is going to attach over here through the holes I pre-drilled. And lastly, I'm going to finally order the mattress that I'll be using over here. So those are the upgrades I hope to accomplish by my 3rd trip, which I'm aiming for November. It's October 30th now, so maybe in about 2 to 3 weeks.